Hi, I'm Jacob Wright. I was with Group 8, and I worked with Kate Sachs, Logan Melvin, and Ryan Wire. The organization we worked with was Churches Touching Lives for Christ, located in Temple, Texas, and the executive director for that organization is Jim Hornsby, who we worked with throughout the year. So I'm going to be running through just a quick overview of our statement of work and the results from our survey, and what we recommended that the organization does to better serve their clients, basically. So, as I said, CTLC works out of Temple, Texas. They have a lot of local supporters. Most of their volunteers are from the local area, and Jim has informed us repeatedly that they have no shortage of volunteers. They have a lot of the local community members work there, many of the church members, and they have lots of high school and college students in the local youth group that also give them assistance for volunteering. So basically what we did for our statement of work was we were going to create a survey and give the survey to Jim so he could then administer it to both the clients and the volunteers. And he did so, and with the results, basically people love Jim and the entire organization as a whole. The volunteers really enjoyed working there. They all wanted to come back and help again. They had they had really only one complaint, was that they don't have enough Spanish speakers. So that was really the only result that was negative from the survey, was that they need more Spanish speaking volunteers. And I'll get into how we suggested that they kind of fix that issue. So the clients responded almost the exact same. Most of them loved it, and we only had 6 client responses, but from those 6, 5 of them all had no complaints, and they were satisfied with almost everything, while some of them did request more items, like they wanted more canned goods, especially fresh fruits and vegetables, and more meat were some of the main things that they wished there was more of, which when we spoke to Jim about that, there wasn't much of a recommendation to fix that, because that's just kind of up to how much they get in, and for the most part they do deliver enough goods. It's just some people wish they could have had more of those particular items. And a big part of the canned goods was because many of the, well, not many, but a couple of them did not have stoves or other things, so they wanted easy to eat, really basically ready food in the can section, like canned vegetables and those sorts of things that you can eat straight from the can if you need to. So yeah, so basically our recommendations for how to solve some of the issues were, basically the main thing was to not hire, but go out and try to find more Spanish-speaking volunteers was the main thing, because it just seems that they have a lack of Spanish-speaking volunteers. And even though Jim said that they do have some, they're not always right around the Spanish-speaking clients, and therefore there's a language barrier. That if they didn't have that language barrier, it would allow them to greatly enhance their ability to serve the clients. So what we recommended was advertising in the local community to basically just state that they're in need of more Spanish-speaking volunteers. In the church, they could ask members who speak Spanish to help out and volunteer at the food bank. And that should help get some more Spanish-speaking volunteers, which would, for the most part, help the issue. Another idea was that they could just heavily encourage their current volunteers to learn Spanish, and even if not, fluently, just to learn the basics so they can somewhat communicate and understand the needs of the people. Basic food items, basic needs and wants, those kinds of things. If they could just understand and speak that to the clients, that would also have a huge benefit to both the volunteers, the organization as a whole, and the clients. And then the third idea that's a very low-cost option, very easy to implement, is a language board. And basically it just has Spanish on one side, English on the other, and you use pictures to communicate with the clients. So if I want more corn, and there's a picture of corn on the board, and there's a word for I want with a picture of somebody wanting something, the client would basically just point to I want and point to corn, which is just telling the volunteer that they want more corn. And then using other pictures, the volunteer would be able to respond to that. So that was really the best idea for a low cost, option that doesn't require a lot of advertising or anything like that. It's just those boards would help the English-speaking volunteers communicate better with the Spanish-speaking clients. And we used some outside research, basically just the demographics of Bell County and Temple, Texas. So about 1/4 of the entire community is Latino or Hispanic. And so to better serve that 1/4 of the local population, more Spanish-speaking volunteers, or a better way for the English-speaking current volunteers to communicate with the clients who only speak Spanish would be a big help. And that is what we referred to Jim and advised him to do. Thanks.